So I'm here with Dr. Liz Shumann. I am Talia Rodriguez, Grants Manager at Jefferson Center, and we're here just to have a conversation about who you are, we get to know you a little bit more as a person and as a professional. So I'm going to be just diving with you with a couple of questions that I have. Liz, do you want to tell us your title here at Jefferson Center?
Sure, I'm the interim chief medical officer, and I've been in this role for a few months, but I've been at Jefferson Center for about 12 years.
And you like to go by Liz with most of the staff, well, all of the staff, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'll just use Dr. Liz, just
Okay.
because I like to always honor your doctor. That's how I am. So, do you want to share any pronouns?
Sure, she, her, hers.
Perfect. So just to start off, how long have you been working at Jefferson Center?
So about 12 years. I did take a quick little break in 2019 and then quickly came back. And I started with Jefferson Center as a psychiatrist and have done multiple programs, including RTC, which is our urgent care clinic, adult outpatient, Ascent, and Mountain Collaborative Care.
Oh, that's awesome. So you have had a quite range of touching points within the prescriber world.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what is your education experience look like? What is the background that you have?
So I started out in college. I was a chemistry major and decided I wanted to do environmental engineering. I wanted to do make sure I was sort of younger and idealistic, and really wanted to make sure more people in the world had clean drinking water. And I went to graduate school in environmental engineering, and suddenly it was so many spreadsheets. And I was sitting there with Excel, spreadsheet after spreadsheet, and I'm like, this is too unemotional, and I want a job that makes me feel. And I ended up getting a master's degree, but was quite confused, and I had no car, no job, no money, no idea what I wanted to do with my life. Moved back in with my parents, and a friend from college suggested teaching. And so I applied to teach, and I ended up at a school for kids with emotional problems. And it was a smaller class size, which is why I wanted to do it. And when we started the school year, the kids were talking about their therapists, their psychiatrists, what sort of 12-step groups they were in. And I was really surprised at what these younger kids had gone through. And it turns out I loved working with the kids. They were so much fun, and I love adolescents. But I didn't have a passion for math. Teaching factoring day after day wasn't going to sustain me long term. And I'd taken the MCATs with my best friend in college, and they were about to expire. And I was like, oh my goodness, I should go to medical school and do adolescent psychiatry. So quickly applied and then went to medical school with the plan to go into psychiatry.
Wow, that is really cool. I didn't know that about you. And it's just so nice to hear how you have all these different backgrounds. I can totally picture you as what did you say your first?
Engineer.
Engineer, yes. That is so wonderful. And we're very lucky to have you either way too.
Thank you. I feel very fortunate to be here.
Yeah, you ended in the right place for sure. We have I have worked with you in many capacities, and you are a wonderful prescriber.
I feel the same way about you. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so tell me why mental health is important to you. Sounds like you were looking for making an impact within the role, and also just feeling connected with people, which you're really good at. So why is mental health important to you?
I think mental health, especially in regards to other areas of medicine, one of the most important things in my life was to live a meaningful life. And so I like working with people that are suicidal or are struggling with those thoughts. Because to me, I just don't want to preserve life, but how do you live an authentic and meaningful life? And so that's what the root of what mental health does, is how can you live your best life and be yourself. And I think, especially when I was working with teenagers, the biggest compliment a family could say would be I have my child back. That was exactly what I wanted to hear.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so wonderful. And with that too, I mean, what would you say to someone who is wanting to get into this field? Maybe a lesson learned along the way that you wish maybe you could have known at the beginning.
I think what I wished I would have known is how hard some of it was. Like my intern year, for example, was basically a 30-hour shift every fourth night. So just some of the chronic fatigue, and I feel like I lost with training, med school, residency, fellowship, over a decade of my life to work. And so there were many times when I was doing it where I was like, I wish this wasn't what I was supposed to do, but I felt it was what I was supposed to do. I wished it wasn't, but
Yeah.
So I think if anyone else was considering this field, I would say make sure that's genuinely what you want to do.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I think that's definitely true with any career, but I think with doctors it's even more prominent because mental health is so important within also the medical and healthcare providers. That's something that I've seen more recently be highlighted of how providers have really poor mental health and they should be doing everything they can to take care of themselves.
Still, the medical field isn't immune to the stigma that
Right.
society has, and it can be even worse, which is really sad and disheartening.
Yes. Oh gosh. So thank you so much for sharing that. So now to some of the fun stuff. What are some of your favorite hobbies?
Let's see, I love endurance sports. Right now I used to do triathlons, right now it's running. And I try to not get injured. I love, my son just turned 7, so we play a lot. And just doing things with my husband, son, family. Our dogs are great.
That's awesome.
Doing some of the simple things like that.
Oh, I love that. That is really cool. And what can you share? Maybe 3 things about you that people don't know.
Let's see. When I was a kid, I had some learning disabilities and truly hated school. I think people often assume, oh, you went through so much schooling, you must have loved it. But I really hated it for quite a few years. Another thing, I come from a big family. I'm the youngest of 6 kids. And this probably many people know, but I'm a terrible typist and speller. So the combination, oh my goodness. And you rarely make an error typing to spell the word right. It doesn't work that way.
I appreciate spell check so much now.
I do too.
How to correct and all of that. It has its pros. I can totally relate to you. And what is a quote that has inspired you?
A quote that I think about the most, and I don't know the exact quote and exactly who said it, but it's basically that integrity is a muscle. And so if you don't practice it with the little things in life and do it consistently, if something big comes up, it's not going to work well. So I always try and practice integrity in everything I do, including something minor, so that when a larger issue comes up, I will hopefully act in the right way.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing those wise words. I think it's important, especially in this field, to have that integrity and not just to do the right thing, but connect to people in the correct way too. So thank you for sharing that. Is there someone in your life that has inspired you, a leader or anybody that you can think of that really had an impact on I heard your journey of switching careers, right, and education paths, and you finding this moment of saying, I want to do something that makes impact and connects. But was there somebody behind that you were like, I look up to this person, that's why I want to do that?
There were probably, honestly, too many people to count. Not a single one person, but so many people who inspire me along the way, who led by example.
That's awesome. Anybody that you can think of that was really impactful for you? And thinking of your residency, right? So that's also a very challenging time for doctors who are training to go out in the field. And was there somebody that really pushed you through those really challenging nights?
There was someone in particular. It was actually in medical school, because the first 2 years of med school were just click, click, click of PowerPoint slides in a dark room, it felt like. And there was a child psychiatry professor who really seemed, who I connected with, and really I saw the good care he gave in lectures and things like that. And so he was sort of a role model that I could be okay, I've got to get through this, and then I can do what he does.
That's beautiful. It's so important to have those folks who keep us going through the most difficult challenges, especially when we are venturing into a space of learning, and learning sometimes comes with a lot of uncomfortability and pain. So that's really nice that you had something like that. Well, I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for sharing so much about you, and I got to learn more about you as a person. So I appreciate you being here.
Oh, I appreciate it too. I hope you have a good day.
All right, thank you.